the coordinator. Thank you, Steve. Raise your hand if anybody needs you. I'd also like to give a huge shout out and thank Mark Ferguson, the owner here at Fergs. Thank you, Mark. And so we can do this again. We want to be as respectful as we can. And one of the rules here, not here, but for the state, as you all well know, when you're sitting in a restaurant, you don't need to wear your mask, but if you get up and walk around and start talking to people, please put your masks on. Okay? And we're gonna have an incredible discussion today. I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning doing my homework so that we could figure out how in the hell we got here today, how we in St. Petersburg, Florida, ended up being the first city in the entire state to have our police defunded. I'm going to give you the history. I'm going to tell you how we got here. And after I get finished speaking, we're going to have about 5 minutes for every one of our candidates who are running in the upcoming primary. How many here are registered to vote? If you are not registered to vote, we happen to have our registrar over here. So before you leave, do not leave here because this starts and ends at the local level with what we're accomplishing here today, right? Before I get started, can I ask if we have any members of the Thin Blue Line with us here today that we can honor? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for your service. Believe it or not, in these difficult times, the silent majority doesn't speak up nearly enough. But you know what? We're here today. No peace without police. We're going to start off as every patriotic meeting should start off, and we're going to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Do we have someone that would like to stand up and recite the Pledge of Allegiance for the group? A veteran would be the best. Yes! Anna Paulina Luna is stepping up to the plate. And Anna, by the way, is running for the District 13. She's one of our brave candidates. Go ahead, Anna. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Let's say it loud and say it proud, okay? On 3, 2, 1. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now we have the fortunate experience to be able to hear Margot Gustafson, who's going to be starting us off with our national anthem, and she's going to be singing it a cappella. So everybody, show your patriotism and join in. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night is still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Nice sign up there, Margo.
That was incredible. That was incredible. Thank you so much, Margot. Now, I don't know how many of you here have a real good understanding why we're even here today. But I'm going to, before you leave, I'm going to make sure everybody in this room knows exactly what kind of shape our city's in and what we need to do to save it. We have a mayor, Rick Kreisman, who redirected money that our city had specifically for hiring 25 new police officers. And instead of it going there, after George Floyd was killed, and I don't think there's anybody in this room that will disagree with me that that was wrong. Okay, so every American's on the same side here. This division is fake. So apparently groups, leftist groups, came up to our mayor and told him, no, the cops have got to go. And what did they do? They took $3 million that was meant for our police officers and they redirected it for social workers to go out. Social workers. Did anybody hear the news last night? We had a police officer involved in an altercation right at 4th Street on 40th Avenue. And it was an altercation. That police officer was called out for one of the calls that will, starting October 1st, go to a social worker. And the guy had her in a chokehold. And if you all don't mind, I'd like to take a minute, and Margot is going to say a prayer for that officer for us. And that officer's name is Cerisi. And we all want to remember her in our prayers. She's probably going to be put through hell for this. But you need to know the facts. I saw Gualtieri, our sheriff, on TV this morning. And he was sharing a little bit about what happened. And she was pretty much ambushed. So let's all take a moment and remember the officer here in our prayers.
Dear Lord, thank you so much for letting your son Jesus die on the cross for all of our sins. Thank you for this beautiful day and blessing us to be alive again. Father, we come to you right now, Father, because of Officer Savarese. She was involved in an altercation last night with a bad guy, Father. We ask that you please wrap your loving arms around her, comfort her, and give her peace and strength to get through the storm that she's going through. Reach down and touch her and let her feel your loving arms wrapped around her. And give her such a sense of peace that she feels like she's walking on cloud 9 water and air. Father, please be with the review board and unharden all of their hearts and let them find her innocent and not guilty of any civil and criminal charges that may be brought against her from any of the left-wing organizations or other groups. Father, please watch over, guide, and protect all of our law enforcement officers, all of our men and women in blue, Father. Please wrap all of them up in a ball of thorns, Father, so Satan can't throw his poisonous darts and arrows at them anymore. Please watch over, God, and protect them, and let no harm come to them in any way, shape, or form. And Father, also be with the family of the bad guy who was killed, Father. And please wrap your loving arms around all of them and comfort them and give them peace for their loss. And Father, we love you so much, Father. Please unharden Mayor Kreisman's heart and all those that are against, especially our awesome and superific St. Pete police officers. Father, please unharden Mayor Kreisman's heart, Father, and actually challenge him, Father, to do a ride-along. Do a ride-along on Friday and Saturday nights with a patrol officer in Jordan Park, and unharden Mayor Kreisman's heart and open up his eyes and open up his ears, Father, to the truth, Father, and let him reverse his, in my opinion, the most horrific decision to defund our police department. Let him reverse that decision, Father, and let Mayor Kreisman turn to you, fall on his knees, face, and hands, and surrender to you, Father, and let him be able to protect our police instead of defund our police. And
Amen.
Father, we love you so much, Father, and we ask of these things in your dear Son's, Jesus Christ's precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Long weekend prayer.
Folks, let me share with you now what our social workers that are going to be sent out to these so-called nonviolent crimes. Before I do, though, I just noticed that Chris and Melissa are in the crowd. Chris and Melissa have started a Can you guys raise your hand? You see my shirt? Don't you love it? If you want a shirt like this one, these good folks have started a nonprofit organization. 100% are going to our police charities. So they have tank tops, they have these shirts. So make sure to check with them before you leave if you'd like one of their shirts. And especially because at the end of this, I had 3 12-year-old little boys last night up way past their bedtime drawing posters that say, "We love our cops." And anyone who would like to join us to march down to the police station after we're finished here at 2 o'clock, please, let's show them our support. I want to talk to you a little bit about what these side crimes, these so-called non-violent calls are that these new social workers are going to be going out on, folks. Disorderly intoxication, mental health transportations, drug overdoses, suicides, neighborhood disputes. That's what she went on last night. According to the data, and I've done my homework on this, did you know that our crime rates here in St. Petersburg are higher than 87% of all cities in the entire country? Did anybody have any clue about that? This is no time to defund our police. Property crime, the U.S. average is about, on a ranking scale of 1 to 100, 100 being the highest crime areas, we rank 70 on property crime. Violent crimes, 1 to 100, we rank 40. And by the way, on property crimes, the U.S. average is 23. We're at 70. Does that sound like we could give up any police officers to you? Understand, this is not about reallocating funds. This has nothing to do with it. Reallocating funds is the left's code speak for defunding our law enforcement officers around the country, all of them, eventually. You see what's happening up in Portland and Seattle. They want to get rid of all the local police. This isn't about getting rid of 5. They're planning to take this all the way. Should that happen, domestic terrorist groups that are creating chaos around our country will come here too. And let me explain what will happen. And I see a lot of new faces out here today. For those who don't know me, I've written a book called Rules for Deplorables. How many here? Thank you. Thanks. How many here know who Saul Alinsky is? Saul Alinsky is the father of community organizing. He wrote a book back in the 70s called Rules for Radicals. He's the one that Hillary Clinton wrote her thesis on in college. He's the one Obama studied all of his tactics. That's why Obama is known as one of the best community organizers ever to churn out of Saul Alinsky's schoolings. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to talk in a few minutes about BLM. Because these are folks we need to know about. But Alinsky wrote in his book 13 tactics. And those tactics have been studied by the left. They go through schools about these 13 tactics. And shamefully, conservatives have no idea what they even are. So what I did when I saw these tactics being used against patriots and against our great president, what I did was I took every one of those tactics and I started a chapter out with each one of them in my book. And I explain what the tactic is, and I explain how it's being used against us. These tactics are being used to transform our great country into socialism. And if you don't think that's possible, you're living on another planet, because we are one election away. Let me tell you what one of the most famous tactics is. Because you see it every day and you don't even know it's an Alinsky tactic. Tactic number 5, ridicule. It's man's most potent weapon. Name-calling justifies their arguments. That's what scares us backwards. We can't be scared by being called names. Let me ask you, do we have any xenophobes in here? We can check that one off. Do we have any homophobes in here? Can I check that one off? Do we have any racists in here?
No.
Can I check that one off? Do we have any sexists? You better not say yes to that one. Okay, everybody, I've been told we're not sitting with our masks on. So please, if you're not wearing a mask, you need to be sitting. I'm not going to go forward until I see everybody sitting. Let's respect the owner here. Or put your mask on. It's very simple. If you're going to walk around, folks, these aren't the owner's rules. These are the rules that the left is using to hamper our elections. So everybody put your mask on until I see everyone who's standing with a mask on. Okay? Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Okay, last one. Do we have any white supremacists in here?
No.
Okay, we can check that one off. I'm just asking because if BLM pulls up here, I want to be able to tell them they're in the wrong group. Right? Now the left keeps pushing this idea that we have a systemic problem with police brutality. Have you heard that word systemic? Over and over and over again. That's what the left does. That's part of their MO. Because they know if they can push lies over and over again, people are going to start believing it, right? Let me tell you what the definition of systemic is. Even I had to look it up just to be sure before I shared it with you all. It's affecting or relating to a group as a whole instead of its individual members or parts. Do you understand that? So when they say systemic, they're wrapping the entire law enforcement community into one. They're not saying that one guy is guilty of police brutality. They're trying to convince us that they all are guilty. You have to push back. We have to push back because that's BS and we all know it. Let me tell you a few statistics so I can really convince you there's no such thing as systemic police brutality. Blacks equal 13% of the population, yet they account for 50% of the murders and 38% of violent crime. So when Black Lives Matter, or when the left tells us that they are unfairly being locked up by unfair percentages, now you know why. FBI statistics. In 2016, black men commit murder 573% more than white men. Does that mean all blacks are systemically murderers? No! We're not saying that, people. In case anybody's out there listening, I know you all know that. Violent crime, 264% greater committed by blacks than whites. Chicago, in the first, listen to this, in the first 8 months of 2016, 2,818 people were shot, only 12 by the police. Are you catching on? In 2019, last year, 55,800,000 contacts by the police in total. 58,800,000.
Can you film this?
Out of
Where can we get a
those,
t-shirt?
26,000
Want to get a t-shirt?
had excessive force complaints.
Film her.
But only 8 of those, 8% rather, held up under investigation. That's 0.0039% of 998 police deadly use of force in 2019, folks. 95% of the suspects were armed. These guys have a hell of a job on their hands, and we need to thank them every day we see them. Police brutality is not systemic. Black on black crime is. Activists want us to stop saying black on black crime. They want that stricken from the language. They said that. What nerve? We can't let them strike that from the language. Because out of sight, out of mind. And it's the truth. They say it's not fair because white on white crime is never discussed. It's not discussed, folks, because nobody's blaming the police for brutality in white deaths. This is being used by the left for a purpose intentionally. And we know what that is. We can't let them win. Second, and this is huge, after ridicule, the second biggest tactic okay, folks, at the proper time, if you need a drink and you can't get service, there's a back bar there that's going to be able to service you, okay? Okay, here's the second tactic to look out for. This is another Alinsky tactic, okay? And that one is all about bullying. They love to bully. They love to bully individuals. How many people are familiar with the New Orleans Saints quarterback, Drew Brees? He caved. He wimped out. And the more we do that, he was right when he stood up and said, no kneeling for our national anthem. We've got to stand up more like that. Yes, give that a hand. That needs to sink in. And we can only do it as a group. They want to pick us off one by one. We got to stand together strong. So he then was ridiculed and bullied into taking it all back. Even his wife came out groveling. No, we don't do that. Because you cannot appease the left. Businesses, here's how they're going to bully our businesses. And folks, this is coming to St. Pete. If you own a business in St. Pete, listen up. Because it just happened, I read about it in Louisville, Kentucky. Did anybody read about what BLM did to the businesses in that city? Let me tell you. The first thing you're going to do is get a letter in the mail from BLM. And that letter is going to give you a list of 4 or 5 things that you have to do. Not asking you to do, but telling you if you don't do it, you're going to find your business in a whole heap of trouble. And they mean it. So they say that you're going to have to hire a representative percentage of black folks in your business that represent the percentage of the population in your city. They say that you're going to have to purchase that same percentage from black retailers. Or you have to make recurring monthly payment donation of 1.5% of net sales to local black organizations. Are you listening? This is the mafia. They also are going to require that you make your entire staff take diversity training twice a year. And last but most egregious in my eyes, they're going to force you to display visible signs in your store facing outside that say that you agree with reparations. This just happened in St. Louis, Kentucky. And if you don't think it can happen here, it's already started. You want me to tell you that BLM is already here, or do you know that? How many know that? They're here. They've been protesting. They've been marching. They've been blocking our streets. We have to get organized, and that's the reason I put today together. And in case I forget, I have a sign-up sheet up here. I want to get everybody here signing that. Yeah. And I want to form a local union now. mask, and anybody who just came in, if you're walking around, you wear your mask. When you sit down, you can take it off. Okay, so, and when you all sign this up, I'm going to see if I can find a volunteer in here, so I don't have to do everything. I could really use some volunteers to help me. Thank you. And we're going to put together a master list, and we're going to send it out back out to all of us, okay? And we're going to keep it growing. And if any one of our neighbor businesses gets targeted like this, we are all going to show up as a group. Let me tell you about Black Lives Matter. And if they do come in here, I want everybody to remain extremely polite because I have a few questions I'd like answered from them. And if we can work together, I'd love to. I don't think it's possible, but I'm going to keep an open mind. But it's going to mean uniting together against our mayor. And that would be the idea that I'd put forth. Because if our mayor's sticking up for this city, he wouldn't be giving up our police so fast. Black Lives Matter began in 2013 after Trayvon Martin. Okay?
No, my hands are tired.
The
I need to go get a
founder
drink.
just came out recently
Go get you a
and said on camera that they are trained Marxists. Trained Marxists. And I found out from some research on their own website, they're training all their soldiers to be trained Marxists too. This is frightening. We need to stop it before it takes hold in our city. They were trained, by the way, by the same organizers that trained the Weather Underground and Alinsky's people. Here's their mission statement. Anybody want to hear the mission statement? Eradicate white supremacy. That's first on their list. And build local power to intervene in violence inflicted on black communities by the state and vigilantes. What they're telling us is they don't want any of our police to keep the peace. Their website says, we know that police don't keep us safe. That's why we are calling to defund the police. So that is their mission. That is their intention. Folks, I want to tell you, you know, just recently, Bill Barr, our Attorney General, started, yes, let's give him a hand. Thank God we have him in there. He just started an Operation Legend. Anybody heard of that? Okay, this is where we go in as a federal agency to these out-of-control cities. Okay, BLM calls them Operation Legend white supremacists. You know how they started? Where it got its name? Because a little 4-year-old boy named Legend, Operation Legend, it's named after a little 4-year-old boy who was shot last month in Kansas City by gunfire while he was asleep at home. Do these people care about black lives?
No.
If they did, they would be listening to these kinds of operations, and they would be welcoming them. I see a lot of our candidates are coming in now, so we're going to have a great 5-minute session with each one of those as soon as I'm done. Yeah, I think they're all here. Now, there's 2 important Pinellas personalities who have weighed in on the defunding of police. I want to share that with you because one is Sheriff Gaultieri. Thank God I read that he said it's not rational and it's not helpful. So you all know where he stands on that. And here was a shocker for me, but I'm so glad to hear that the NAACP, St. Pete President Maria Scruggs, said it would be a bad thing for everybody. All right, folks, I'm going to take a short break and come back after our candidates speak. I'm going to introduce them one by one, but don't go anywhere, because after they speak, remember, we're going to march and we're going to go down to the St. Pete Police Department, and we're going to let them know how much we love them. Now, yes. Now, we have the great honor of having some incredible patriots among us here today who have stepped up to the plate to help lead our city. They've come to share their views on this new policy. And I hope you all take a listen to what they have to say. How many in here are in District 13? Okay? So we have, I believe, 4 of the candidates who are running for our District 13. And the first one I'm going to call up here, because I see her right there, is Anna Paulina Luna.
All right, so to start out, I don't know if some of you know this, but I am the niece of a very amazing LAPD homicide detective. So I can tell you that I know firsthand about having a family member in law enforcement. Now, I know that we're in a weird time right now. What people like to say is, well, what about this case of quote-unquote police brutality? Well, to those people, I say this, and this is the difference between a patriot and a politician, okay? A patriot will sit here and tell you the truth, even if they're the only one standing here to say it. But I have a feeling today that I'm not the only patriot in this room, correct? A politician, though, will bend the knee to mob rule, and I will never bend that knee to mob rule. Now, what is my argument to these people? Well, my father, my family had a very big problem with obeying the laws. In fact, my father was in and out of prison, and one of the times that my own father was arrested, I love him to death, and he's gotten clean now, but he was actually beat up pretty badly. In fact, his collarbone and his wrists were broken. Now, does that mean that all police officers are bad? No. Does that mean that my father broke the law? Yes. But to those people, I say that I will never advocate for defunding the police, because when you do that, the only people that are hurt are those that need law enforcement the most. And I will tell you that just last week, I had an event in St. Petersburg, and I marched 800 people from Vinoy Park over to Kreisman's office. Woo! Did you know that not one Democrat member of the elected officials locally showed up, and it was a nonpartisan event for children? Woo! Did you know that Charlie Crist did not show up? But do you know who did show up? Law enforcement, because they care. And when you fund the police department, you protect the innocent and those that need it the most. So I don't think I have to prove myself any longer. I am bought and controlled by the people of Pinellas County, not by outsiders or not by people in Washington, D.C. If you guys want to find out more information about me, vote Anna Paulina. But I thank you for your time. God bless, and go police department.
Thank you, Anna. Okay, next we have, and I saw him here, where'd George go? George, there he is. All right, folks, also running. Now, by the way, these 4 folks that are coming up here are running against Charlie Crist. And we have got to get him the hell out of our Congress. No on Charlie Crist. So these 4 are your choices. Next up is George Buck.
make St. Pete great again. What do you think?
Yeah.
Let's get rid of this socialist. Kreisman's trying to turn St. Pete into New York City. We have the power to get rid of him. It's we the people. And I'm going to give you some personal experience about how I backed the blue. I've been a firefighter my whole career. I've gone thousands of calls. I was a medic. We've done calls, and you go in there, and people are a domestic dispute. You go in there, and everything seems very congenial.
Yep.
I'm working on the victim. We're patching her up. Then they go over and try to arrest the husband. The woman turns on us. So if you think social workers can handle that, Kreisman's going to kill social workers, and he's going to injure a lot of them.
Yep.
That has to be changed. This is Kathy's list. I've seen this list. I can relate to every single one that has turned violent. We must back the blue. Like I said, I'm a firefighter. And I will stand with our police because this city will change when Kreisman leaves and I'm in office. Because we're going to be bringing money down here, we're going to be bringing programs, and we're going to make St. Pete great again. Thank God we have a sheriff who is incredible. My stepson is a sergeant in Pinellas County Police Department, Pinellas County Sheriff's. And he's a sergeant, he's telling me the morale is so low. We have to get behind them. What can we do to support them? It can be as little as you go to a restaurant and you pick up their lunch. You get a drink for them or buy them a soda, whatever. But it's all about police, fire, and medical because they're our guardians in this country, other than God. Okay, so vote for George. My website is georgebuckjr.com. We're going to make St. Pete and Tampa Bay great again.
Yeah! Yeah!
Thank you, George. Okay, now, and I know I saw Sheila. Sheila, are you ready? I can't wait to hear what you guys say. We're going to get a great perspective from Sheila Griffin.
Woo!
Okay, they didn't tell me not to wear high heels. This is not cute. This is not cute. My name is Sheila Griffin, and I'm running for U.S. House of Representatives. Listen, I got a call from Chicago. One of the members of my campaign, her brother-in-law was murdered. This was in the midst of riots, and for 2 days, nobody came. Somehow or another, they think it's okay to defund the police, but call them when you need them. I'm sorry, but in America, we believe in civility and we believe in order. That means we protect those that protect us.
Yep.
I've got members who are serving lifetime in prison. I've also got patrolmen in the state of Florida that work for the Florida troopers. I've got others that are in Atlanta. My cousin, is an Atlanta officer, and another one in Miami Beach. But here's the deal. If you don't black the blue, we don't have anything. So when I went to Pasco County to back the blue rally, when I went to Pinellas County at Quaker State, I didn't do it because it's cute. I did it because it's necessary.
Yeah.
There's a sound in the earth for a candidate that has guts enough to put things in the right perspective. I heard somebody say, Griffin, Griffin, we win. 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 If you're gonna live in America, you're gonna have to back the blue, or you're not gonna have an America to come home to.
Awesome. That was fantastic. Fantastic, Sheila. Thank you so much. What did I tell you? Okay, now, I know Amanda Mackey couldn't be here today. late, but she is, I guess, at a voter polling something. But there's somebody here named Joe Pack who was good. Is that you, Joe? And Joe is a former military police. Is that right? He's going to say a few words for Amanda. He was at the U.S. Air Force and also a member of Cops for Mackey. Joe, sum up.
Thank you. So, no chance, not good at that kind of stuff, but I will say my name is Joe Pack. I was a 16-year military law enforcement veteran. Thank you. I know Miss Lynn was Air Force, go Air Force, love it. I am a member of Cops for Mackey. The reason that I back Amanda is I spoke personally to her on the phone and she answered all of my questions. We talked at length about her support for law enforcement, her support for the veteran community. Also, she has a backing of both FOP chapters right here in Pinellas County. She is endorsed by the head of the Clearwater FOP.
You're okay.
And she really believes in backing the blue, not defunding the blue. So if you want to check her out, she's got AmandaMackey.com, Cops for Mackey. We also have, where's the Blue Thunder in the house? Good group here. She's been to several other events, the Blue Thunder Law Enforcement Police Backing Motorcycle Club. So if you check out AmandaMackey.com and vote for Mackey. Thank you.
Where's Mackie? Mackie doesn't show up.
Sorry guys, somebody just bought a book from me. Which is a great segue into letting you know, don't forget. At the end of this, if you'd like to pick up one of my books, it will teach you everything you need to know about fighting the left. It just hit, I'm very proud to tell you, number 14 on Amazon's top 25 list. It's got 5 stars and 400 footnotes, so trust me, you will learn something. So next, we have, is Larry Ahern here, running for county commissioner. Larry, there he is. Let's hear if you, and by the way, we've got 2 Republicans running for county commissioner, folks. Woo! Okay? Let's get the Democrats out of our local offices, okay? It is red down the entire ballot this time. Woo! And Larry Ahern is one of them.
Thank you very much, everyone. My wife Maureen is here with me today, and I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. I'm former Air Force security police for 4 years, so I understand what it takes to be on that front line, and that's why we need to support our police. You know what's happening in some of these other cities, Portland, Seattle, New York, Chicago. That could come here, and when it does, we want to make sure that our law enforcement personnel know that we stand behind them, and that's not happening here. None of the elected officials that should be here in support of this are here, and that's why I'm running, to take one of their places. I'm running against Janet Long. We have signs over here. If you live anywhere in the county, you can vote for me. 28 years she's been in government. I think 8 is enough, and we need to enforce that term limits that the people voted for in 1996. They have defied the people's will, and this time we're going to make sure that they don't. With your vote, we can make it happen. Go to LarryAhern.com, help support our campaigns, help Tammy Vasquez get Charlie Justice off. Let's get this done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you very much. I am so thrilled that we have patriots that come out and they want to go through all this stuff that people in politics have to go through today. My God, thank you all. We still have a couple more, folks. I'm actually looking at, is Matt Tito in the house yet? Okay, we have a politician who's late. Does that surprise anybody? He's out door knocking. Okay, we can't knock a door knocker. Okay, so, all right, we have another one running for county commissioner. Remember this name, Tammy Vasquez. Take it away.
I'm pretty loud without a microphone, so it's dangerous handing me one. So, anyway, first of all, I want to thank Fergs for standing up and standing for the blue when a lot of places wouldn't do that. So thank you so much, Fergs. Thank you to the organization that it took to get all this to happen. It's absolutely awesome, and it's time that we all stand for the blue, proud, just like we do for President Trump. We have to stand with our blue. I do not shy away from either one. I came here at first, I was going to tell you about how angry I was, or am, about what the mayor did in reallocating funds from our police officers. That's not what I'm going to do, because I had an encounter about a week ago with a St. Pete officer that touched me to the core. This gentleman came up to me, and we're having a discussion. He has given over a decade of his life to the police force. And he was sharing with us what is already taking place in changing and defunding our police. He has taken a demotion. He had the look of pain and defeat in his eyes. And this was a big man. He towered over me about 6'4", and he looked defeated. It crushed me and angered me that this is happening not in DC, not in Seattle, in our backyard. And this has to stop. It's absolutely insane that this has been allowed to happen. And I can tell you right now, I'm not a miracle worker, but I will tell you, I will be a voice on the county commission for our police officers, for all our first responders. And I guarantee you, when things like this happen, can I stop it? Maybe not, but I guarantee you, I will voice my opinion about it, loud and proud. I don't owe anybody anything. I am not a politician. I am a local business owner. I don't owe anybody anything like the lifetime politicians like Jenna Long and Charlie Justice, my opponent. So Larry and I definitely have to get both of them out of there, because they've been in government far too long and have done far too many favors, and they gotta go. But most of all, I want to take the time to remind everybody that these police officers that are being disrespected, spit in their face, yet they still help these people if they're called to, which, God help them, I don't think I could do it, but they're doing it. We have to remember, these are our friends, these are our neighbors, and they deserve our respect. They're not there because they're making amazing money. They're there because they believe in what they're doing, and they deserve each and every one of our respect. So I'm going to ask you guys, if you are not standing, I know you don't have your mask on, but you're going to do 2 seconds. Can everybody just stand and give a big applause to our men and women in law enforcement, please? They deserve it. Thank you guys so much. We know that the BLM, they all tried to, I have another abbreviation for them, but we'll leave that out. They tried to scare us all from being here today. But you all showed up, and that speaks volumes, and that's amazing. So thank you guys for standing up for Blue Lives Matter. And if you guys are out and about, a lot of you guys I'm sure know Ted from Ted's Firearms. He's having a barbecue for me this Thursday from 6 to 8. Would love to see you guys there. Would love to have your support. Again, I'm Tammy Vasquez. If you live in Pinellas County, you can vote for me for county commissioner.
Thank you, Tammy. Awesome. Do we have a good group of candidates or what? Who in here lives in district number 68? Don't worry if you don't know your district number. I had to look at mine the other day too. But we have a candidate here today that is running unopposed in the primary, but vote for him anyway. Are you Eric? I'm going to get to you in a second. I can't wait. But Matt Tito is running for District 68. And when you see his name on in November, you better vote for Matt. Matt, come on up.
Wow, look at this crowd. This is great. This is awesome. You know, we're here to back the blue. This is incredible times. We have one of the worst mayors in the entire country, and that's hard. That's hard to get on that list, isn't it? We have a guy over here who, instead of having police officers respond to issues and 911 calls, they're going to have what they call community assistance liaisons. Or that's a fancy phrase for social workers, right? And they're going to have these social workers responding to domestic violence issues, disorderly intoxication, and neighborhood disputes, amongst a bunch of other things. And I don't know if any of you saw the news last night, but there was a female police officer who responded to a neighborhood dispute last night, not too far from here on 4th Street and 41st Avenue over there. And within minutes of the police officer arriving to what they consider a regular neighborhood dispute, the man started strangling the police officer. For 15 seconds, this man was strangling the police officer. The police officer had no other choice but to return fire and kill the man. That is going to be a social worker in the future responding to that call. What's going to happen to the social worker? It's not going to be a good day for them. But these are the kind of policies that these politicians and these elected officials, not only here in St. Pete, but across the country, want to implement. They want chaos, they want anarchy, they want destruction in your city. And when that happens, everything's going to go to hell at that point. And then on top of that, once they defund the police, they're going to come for your guns next. And what's going to happen when they come for your guns? Not a good day. Not a good day. But police officers have, and law enforcement officers have, the most difficult job in the country. It's incredible. Every single shift, they've got to make hundreds and hundreds of judgment calls. And if they make one judgment call the wrong way, their elected officials and their bosses crucify them. And it's completely unfair. But what these officers are going through, the invisible wounds, I like to call it, the mental health stress that these officers go through, there's no help for them whatsoever. They're not given the proper mental health treatment, they're not given the proper therapy, and they're left out to dry. You know, the number one killer of police officers and law enforcement officers across the country is suicide. Suicide, and it's a huge problem. So instead of defunding the police, let's reinvest in the police, let's re-educate them, give them more resources, and make them bigger and better and stronger than ever before. Woo! So thank you all for coming, I appreciate it. Let's back the blue.
Woo! Thank you so much, Matt. What a guy. Who knows where that sign-up sheet is? Okay, there we go. Can you let her know? Margo, let her know it's right behind you. Okay, now we have another fantastic surprise today. The group from Blue Thunder has represented. Yeah, let's give them a hand. The founder, Eric, is here, and he's going to tell us a few words. Anybody heard about that Back the Blue mural over in Tampa?
Yeah.
That beautiful piece of art that got destroyed by BLM. He's here to tell us a few words about it. Eric, thank you for coming. You ready? Do you even need anything to stand on?
Hey everybody, thanks for coming out today. I've never been surrounded since I've started this organization by a better group of people, and I appreciate all you guys' dedication and Back in the Blue. And just want to let you guys know, after this event today, we're riding to Tampa Police Department, and we're doing a pro-police rally there. And that's immediately after the event, probably around 3 o'clock, we're going to ride over. So, but thanks for all the candidates for coming out and speaking, and you know, we got to turn this thing around. This is backwards, and the silent majority has to start speaking up, and I think finally they are. They are. We just need to get louder and louder and louder. Keep it up. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Eric, and thank you for everything you and your guys do. And women, I'm sorry, was that sexist? Oh, you homophobe. Now, I think we have one left. Did I miss any candidates? Are there any candidates here that I have not called up? Okay, I'd like to give a little bit of time here for the good folks, Chris and Melissa, who brought us all these t-shirts. I see a lot of them out there right now. That's awesome. Chris or Melissa, are you here? Okay. All right, if anybody sees it, oh, here comes Chris right now. These guys are so cool. I just love them. If you can, back the blue by buying one of their t-shirts 100% to the police charities, and Chris will tell us more about it.
Thank you. I know we've had a lot of people talk today, so I'll make it short and sweet. This came about, I don't know if you remember when our TPD was called to a shooting and was ambushed.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
Dugan got on and said, I feel like nobody has our backs. And I looked at my wife and I said, we got to change that. And that's what this is all about, changing that narrative, okay? It's not a political statement. This should be apolitical. This should be Democrat, liberal, it doesn't matter. This should be what it should be about, okay? And I can't imagine vilifying these men and women like right now, right this minute, if we came under duress from someone, they would come and put their body in between us and that threat. And these are the people that we want to defund and take out and not even have in our cities. Can you imagine a city without those? So what we've done, it's all apparel. It's not about us. It's about, we are going to raise a hell of a lot of money for the men and women of law enforcement, and we are going to give it directly to them, whether it's in what we call unexpected blessings. If a cop's kid has cancer, we're going to help out with that. It doesn't matter. We are going to find ways to give that money. So whatever way you can support that, I very much thank you for that, because we've got to change this narrative. Thank you very much.
Woo!
Yes, yes. Isn't it amazing how patriots all come together when we know our culture is being threatened? No more cancel culture. I love my country. Right? Who else in here loves America just like it is? Now, you know how politicians can be. They gotta get the last word in. So Tammy forgot to tell you one thing, so she's going to say one more thing, and then I've just got a couple other things to say before we wrap it up. And here's Tammy again for 1 second.
All right, sorry guys, I got a little fired up earlier and I forgot to mention what was probably the absolute most humbling opportunity that I had in my life. About a week ago, and you guys are the first to publicly know it, about a week ago, I had the honor of receiving the first conservative in decades to receive the endorsement from the PBA. So I just received that about a week ago from the Police Benevolent Association, and that means the world to me, because I will definitely, and they knew it, that I would stand up for them going forward once I get office on November 3rd. So, I just wanted to tell you all that. I wanted a Back the Blue event to be the ones to know it first. So, thank you all again. Sorry.
All right, guys. Now, I thought of a couple ideas around 2 o'clock in the morning last night that I want to share with you. Because you know what? Even Alinsky says, you gotta have a good solution. If you don't have a good solution, it doesn't matter how much you complain, right? So here's what I thought of.
Carolyn, are you a true Republican now?
I looked up what our city budget is here in 2020 for this year.
Of the Republican Party.
That public safety, which is what our police officers, law enforcement, first responders falls under. That's the largest piece of the pie at $150 million. But the General Government Administration is the second. And they get 50 million. You know who gets that? Administrative. The mayor. All the ones who are taking our police away. So I say, why can't we take the 3 million that were supposed to hire us 25 new cops out of the mayor's pocket? Who's with me there? Folks, I want to leave you with what I think is the most important takeaway from today. No matter what they do to us, never give in. Never apologize for what you believe. Rally around those businesses and individuals we see getting bullied. I'm going to take that email. I've already got a couple of great volunteers. Thank you so much. We're going to put together a list of all the patriots here today. And then we're going to keep adding to them. And whenever they threaten us in the future, you're going to get a call and you damn well better show up. Woo! Nothing is more important than our city. Right?
Right.
So get involved with politics, folks, local especially. Focus on that. That's why we're in so much trouble today. And vote Republican. Have a great day, everybody. Who wants to go down to the police department with me? Okay? Can you all wait until around 2, or do we go sooner?
No, go now.
Go now? Who wants to go now? All right, let's say 10 minutes, wrap up your bills, wrap everything up. We'll meet back here after the police. Anybody who wants to go with Eric to Tampa, let him know. And folks, stay in the game. We'll see you. Let's all meet over here in the front.